US President Donald Trump pledged not to bend in his demand for a wall along the southern border with Mexico, but said the barrier could be made of steel instead of concrete as a potential compromise with the Democrats who refuse to fund the project. Trump's comments come at the start of the third week of a partial government shutdown that has left hundreds of thousands of federal workers without the paychecks. US military said it has killed a militant in Yemen believed to be one of the planners of a deadly bombing of the Navy destroyer USS Cole in 2000. Jamal al-Badwani was killed in a precision strike in Yemen's Marib governorate on January 1st, US Central Command said on Twitter, 2 days after saying US forces had targeted Badawi in the strike. Now, Badawi was indicted by a federal grand jury in 2003 and was wanted for his role in the USS Cole attack. He escaped from prison in Yemen twice, once in 2003 and again in 2006. There was a $5 million reward for information leading to his arrest. President Trump congratulated the military on the development in a tweet. US President Donald Trump says that negotiations are underway in the location of his next summit with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. While remaining evasive on its timing, Trump held a historic summit with Kim in Singapore in June. Last week, Trump said he had received a great letter from the North Korean leader but declined to reveal its contents. White House National Security Advisor John Bolton told Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu that the U.S. withdrawal from Syria will be done in a way that makes sure that ISIS is defeated, while it will also take care of those who have fought with us against ISIS. Bolton also said that Turkey must agree to protect the U.S. Kurdish allies. President Donald Trump's abrupt decision to announce a U.S. pullout from Syria left many questions open, chiefly whether Kurdish fighters who had been operating in northern Syria alongside U.S. forces would now be targeted by the longtime enemy Turkey. Syria's chief opposition negotiator says he is surprised by the decisions by some countries to rebuild ties with the Syrian government and urged them to reverse their decision. Arab states that include some that once backed rebels against President Bashar al-Assad are seeking to reconcile with him after decisive gains by his forces in the war, aiming to expand their influence in Syria at the expense of non-Arab Turkey and Iran. Residents in Poland's northern town of Koszalin came together to hold a vigil for 5 teenage girls who died in an escape room fire. Residents turned out in force to attend a mass, followed by a public prayer on the old town's main square to remember the teenagers and show support to their families. The girls were celebrating a birthday at an escape room when the fire broke out. The venue's owner was arrested on Sunday, Polish media reported. Now, Poland's interior minister said that Poland would impose harsh fines and sanctions on business owners whose premises do not comply with health and safety standards. The death toll from the cold front, which has been battering Greece in the first days of the new year, rose to 3. 5 men retrieved the bodies of 2 men, aged 66 and 67, at the outskirts of the Keratia town. Greece's National Weather Service warned that a new low-pressure weather system was due to hit the country. The forecast brings snowfall in Athens and southern Greece. Undeterred by heavy snowfall, dozens of thrill seekers hurled themselves down the steep slopes of the Bavarian Alps during the annual horn sled race. The traditional race is held every year on the Christian holiday of Epiphany. The sleds are made almost entirely of wood, with their shape modelled on the horn of a mountain goat. The sledges were previously used to transport hay and wood. Starting at 900 meters above sea level, contestants hurtled down a twisting, icy track flanked by crowds of supporters cheering them on. The course covers a distance of 1 kilometer with a drop of 160 meters. Russian Orthodox Christians mark Christmas by attending a special midnight mass held in churches and cathedrals across the country. President Vladimir Putin attended a service in St. Petersburg Transfiguration Cathedral, where he was baptized. The head of the Russian Orthodox Church, Patriarch Kirill, led the mass in the Cathedral of the Christ, the Savior in Moscow, attended by hundreds of worshippers, including Russian Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev and his wife as well. Carrying figurines of baby Jesus, Bolivian Roman Catholics flocked to church to celebrate the feast of the Epiphany with a traditional blessing at the historic San Francisco Church. Parishioners carried their dolls in satin and gold-embroidered clothing as the believers left Mass holding the baskets in their arms. Altar boys sprinkled holy water to bless the dolls. Many of the dolls are passed on for generations within families, and believers credit them for fulfilling the request of their intercessory prayer. The Feast of Epiphany, also known as the Three Kings Day, commemorates the visit of the three Magi to the Christ child. The penguins from Harbin polar land were brought to a nearby outdoor enclosure for a promotional event during the city's annual ice festival, with temperatures at around minus 15 degrees centigrade. 6 penguins were released for 15 minutes into the outdoor enclosure. The event was a form of training for the penguins and enabled them to experience nature. A polar land has organized similar outdoor forays for penguins in the past, and the aquarium plans to do so again during this year's ice festival. British villagers battle it out in mud in a traditional rugby-style game known as Haxie Hood. The game is a boisterous form of the traditional sport where the scrum, known as the sway, manhandle a 3 feet long thick piece of rope covered with leather called the hood back to the winner's favorite public house. Hosted every single January since the early 1800s, Haxie Hood is played between the two local villages of Haxie and West Woodside on the Lincolnshire-Nottinghamshire border in northern England. It was first conceived following an incident involving the First Lady de Mowbray in the late 13th century. Eyeing electoral gains, India's ruling Bharatiya Janata Party organized a program of cooking 5,000 kilograms of Indian dish khichdi in the capital city of New Delhi. The khichdi was termed as Samrasta khichdi to indicate national harmony. The ingredients for the mammoth amount of dish were collected from several lower caste households, and thousands were invited to the event at the popular Ram Leela ground to savor on India's traditional delicacy. The gathering was of people from the underprivileged sections of the society. Several ministers from Prime Minister Narendra Modi's cabinet were also seen at the program.